podcast on international trade.
Greetings everyone, my name is Jin and I'm the moderator for this panel discussion. Welcome to today's panel discussion on Bhutan in the global marketplace. We are here to explore Bhutan's trade trends, patterns and partners and to relate them to global trade theories. Let's begin by introducing our panelists. First, we have Jimiade, Somezitabdin and Zenjuandi, each representing one of these major schools of thought. Let's start with Jimiade. Can you talk about Bhutan's current trend regarding export and import?
To talk about Bhutan's current trend regarding export and import, Bhutan's trade landscape is characterized by a significant trade deficit. So in 2023, Bhutan's export reached 456 million while the import was 1.46 billion. So in 2023, the biggest growth market partners of Bhutan were India, China, Thailand and Indonesia, which resulted in the highest positive trade balance. So this resulted in the negative trade balance. Exports were primarily driven by ferroalloys, followed by planes, helicopters and airplanes, while the imports were diverse, including the processing units, oils and coke.
Thank you, Jimmy, for taking us briefly through the current trends of Bhutan regarding exports and imports. So let's proceed with Sonomezitabdin. What was Bhutan's trend like before the 1960s and how did Bhutan's trade pattern begin to change in the 1960s?
Before the 1960s, Bhutan had a subsistence agrarian economy with minimal external trade. Trade was mostly informal and conducted through barter, especially with nearby regions like Tibet and India. So some of the common trade items include salt, grains, wools and textile.
Thank you for that insightful summary. You have clearly highlighted Bhutan's impressive shift from a subsistence barter economy to a more formal trade system, especially after the 1960s development efforts. So, Zenjuandi, how do you see current trade patterns through the lens of absolute and comparative advantage?
Meanwhile, Germany continues to dominate in the export of automobiles and machinery. This reflects the absolute advantage too, as they produce these goods more efficiently than many other countries. When both countries specialize in what they are best and trade both benefits just as the theory suggests.
Excellent. That was a classical application. Now let's hear from Jimiade. In trade compositions, who are the major trading partners of Bhutan?
So some of the major trading partners of Bhutan includes India, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia and China. So India dominates Bhutan trade, accounting for approximately 79% of Bhutan's export and 79% of Bhutan's imports. So if I talk about the relationship with the government of India, the government of India has been associated with the Bhutan's plant development since the start of plant development when the first 5-year plan was launched in 1961 and continues to be our main development partner. The mutually beneficial economic ties between the two countries has been the centerpiece of Bhutan-India relationship, and currently India is not only the Bhutan's main development partner, but it is the leading partner. There has been free trade and commerce between the territories of India and Bhutan since the signing of the treaty between the government of India and the royal government of Bhutan in 1949. So, however, the first formal agreement on the trade and commerce between the government of India was signed in 1972, which has undergone numerous revisions. The objective of free trade agreement is to further strengthen the old ties between the two countries and economic cooperation for the mutual benefit and development of the two countries. The most important features of the free trade agreement are the provision for free trade between the two countries and transit right for Bhutan trade with the third countries. And the rapid growth of trade between the two countries is attributed to the free trade arrangement which allows free flow of goods into each other territories without any import duty. India has been the largest and the most important trading partners for Bhutan since the start of the development plans. In 2020, overall trade with India was recorded at 94.89 billion, which includes electricity, which accounts for the 82% of Bhutan's total external trade. In view of the close ties of friendship between the two governments and its people, the trade with India is envisioned to be very instrumental in elevating the social economic relation into the new heights.
Thank you. That was an excellent and concise overview of India and Bhutan relationship, highlighting their deep-rooted economics and trade partnership. Let's hear from Zenjuandi. What does the History All-in model reveal about the trade patterns that you have shared earlier regarding the absolute and comparative advantage?
Certainly, the History All-in theory emphasizes on factor endowments, which is how countries trade goods based on resources they possess abundantly. Take China for instance. Its trade data shows high exports in both labor-intensive goods and increasingly in capital-intensive tech products. In the early 2000s, China's labor abundance aligned with HO theory, History All-in theory, but as it capitalized on investment and technology, we are seeing a shift in comparative advantage toward capital-intensive exports like electronics and semiconductors. Similarly, resources in rich countries like Australia export minerals and agricultural products because they are capital and labor intensive, land intensive. The theory explains not only what countries export but also why certain sectors thrive based on resources abundance. Thank you.
Fascinating. So, in a way, global development is shifting trade advantages over time. So, Sumezutop then, what are the current challenges in Bhutan's trade pattern and how it is being addressed?
Thank you. Bhutan faces a persistent trade deficit due to high import dependence and limited export diversity. Additionally, being landlocked with limited transport links increases trade cost. So the government is working on export diversification in agriculture, handicrafts, and processed foods. Number 2, improving infrastructure and logistics. Number 3, promoting foreign investment in lights and industries. Number 4, sustainable tourism and green exports. Thank you.
So, Zenju, can you bring in the perspective of new trade theories as well?
Of course, new trade theories, unlike classical ones, emphasize increasing returns to scale, product differentiation, network effects. Let's consider the aircraft industry. Boeing and Airbus dominate not because of factor endowments or comparative costs, but because of economics of scale and high entry barriers. The data shows that a few firms in a few countries export high-tech goods globally. Additionally, intra-industry trade between developed nations, for example, like Germany and France, trading different types of cars is better explained by new trade theory. Both countries have similar resources but still trade similar goods due to consumer preference for variety and specializations within the industries.
So, Jimende, what are the key goods and services exchanged in Bhutan's trade system?
In terms of export, India is the primary export partner for Bhutan, receiving the bulk of its export. And other notable export partners include Italy, Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia, according to the OEC World. In terms of India, which is one of the Bhutan's major export partner, includes exporting electricity, ferroalloys, semi-finished goods of irons, cements, cardamom, pebbles, gypsums, and other different various kind of stones. And the total export value in 2020, including electricity, was 43.51 billion, and excluding electricity was 27.2 billion. In terms of imports, while India remains the primary import partner, Bhutan also imports goods from various countries like Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, Korea, and Singapore, according to the MOICE. Bhutan's major imports from India comprises of diesel, petrol, motor vehicles for transports of goods, and ferrous products, telephones, electrical distributions, coke, soybean oil, passenger cars, and petroleum, where the total imports from India, including electricity, was 51.37 billion.
Thank you, Jimmy. Your summary is clear, well researched, and backed by reliable data. So now the final question is to all of you: how do these theories collectively help us interpret global trade statistics?
They provide a multi-layered understanding. Classical theory helps explain why lower income countries specialize in labor-intensive goods.
As Zenjo mentioned earlier, the new trade theories explains pattern in advanced economics where trade is driven less by cost and more by scale, innovation, and brand power.
Exactly, and history only bridges that with resource availability, especially when looking at emerging economies shifting their export baskets.
Thank you to all our panelists for their insightful contributions. Today's discussion highlighted Bhutan in the global marketplace, and we have also explored Bhutan's trade trends, patterns, and partners, relating them to global trade theories. And thank you for watching this panel discussion. Hope you all gained a valuable insights and knowledge. Thank you.